My name is Divya and welcome to my channel Beauty is Subjective. Today I'll be talking about the shows that I have watched and binged on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime Video and any other digital streaming platforms during the quarantine especially. So since the quarantine started, well actually for me and my family, we quarantined on the 13th of March 2020 because of the obvious reason of the pandemic, and since then till now we have consumed more than 20 pounds of white rice and of course a shit ton of digital streaming content. Excuse my French. I am a voracious consumer of content as it is, but quarantine took it to a whole other level. And let's get into it because this is going to be a long video and I'm going to be breaking it probably into a couple of parts because I don't want a video that's like longer than 15 minutes. I personally don't enjoy videos that are longer than 15 minutes on other channels. So do unto others as you'd have them do to you, something like that. You know what I mean? So I love movies, I love acting, I love shows, I like the world of make-believe. I like that we can live all these multiple lives and have these multiple characters through our imagination in this one life that we've been given. That's one of the biggest reasons that I'm so passionate about movies and TV shows and even books, because they help you live different lives in your imagination. The stronger your imagination, the richer your life. Anyway, that's enough handwork. So the first show that I watched when the quarantine began was Self-Made, which is based on the life of Madam C.J. Walker, who's the first self-made American female millionaire. And not just that, to add to her struggle, she was also African American. So it was definitely a very inspiring and a motivating show. I do recommend it because you cannot really go wrong with casting Olivia Spencer. So I like that show. I won't say it was like the greatest thing I saw, but this was definitely before the whole Black Lives Matter protests that happened later in June. I watched this back in March, so yeah. I recommend that show. It was good, and she kind of like set up her empire after creating a bunch of hair care products targeted towards the African Americans, and then how she expanded her line and slowly become a millionaire. She fought sexism, she fought racism, she fought a whole bunch of things. So it's definitely very inspiring to watch. It is loosely based, I believe. It's inspired by the life of Madam C.J. Walker, but for what it's worth, it's definitely something we all can learn from. Definitely for the women, I do recommend this. So the second show I watched was of course Tiger King, right? Because I believe that this particular show, because of the timing of it, the whole world was kind of in shock of having gone into quarantine, and they didn't exactly know how to handle their time. And then Tiger King came along, and it was like a mass social obsession. You know, like social media, we were just flooded with memes about Tiger King and whatnot, and it's for a good reason too. It's a very entertaining show. It's definitely not something that's gonna add value to your life or something, but it's very entertaining. It's defines the term that fact is stranger than fiction. To see a character like Joe Exotic, that someone like that really exists in real life, and he has lived the life that he has lived and done the cruelty that he has committed in his life by owning and killing hundreds of wild cats. The fact that he has had the kind of relationship that he has had with Carol Baskins, and the fact that someone like Carol Baskins exists, and of course she did it, and if you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. So I recommend it for the entertainment value of it. Don't look forward to it adding any giving you any great insights in your life, or you know, making you realize any deep truths about the universe. Then the next show I saw, this is an Indian crime drama actually. It's called She, and it's written by Imtiaz Ali, who is a director whose work I really admire and like. She is about an Indian female cop who goes undercover as a prostitute to bust a drug ring, or like a drug cartel and a big gang, underworld gang. And the actress Aditi Pohankar, she has done a great job, and more than that, I think the character that she plays of Bhumi Pardeshi was written so well that it really explored a lot of unexplored avenues of a female character in an Indian arena. I have never seen a female character take charge, or rather discover and then proudly take charge of her sexuality and use it to her advantage, as well as this particular character has. This show was very thrilling, very entertaining to watch, especially if you come from Mumbai like I do. It will develop a special place in your heart. At least it did for me, and I really loved that watching this show. I really hope they come up with a follow-up season. I also love how all the characters are kind of gray. There's no black and white in this show, which is very much in line with what true life is. Then I watched the show called Afterlife, which is a super dark British comedy, and Ricky Gervais plays the role, the lead role, which is of a widower who has lost his wife to cancer, and he has no drive to continue living life. And it is an extremely depressing but weirdly funny show as well, and I feel that he has done a great job. It is an extremely triggering show. It deals a lot with topics of suicide and other uncomfortable topics, but they have woven very weirdly, in a very dry British way, a sense of humor about it. I personally enjoyed it because it had really special moments in it which touched me very deeply. Overall, I think the show is pretty, I would say, better than average, but I liked it because of those certain special moments which made me cry. And then I watched Dr. Foster. I know, I got pretty late on the wagon, but I'm glad I did, because the actress Suran Jones, she plays the role of, the lead role of Dr. Foster, who is wronged by her bastard of a husband, and she's cheated on by him. And she's done a great job of a woman wronged, and how she tries to get revenge on this mofo who has wronged her and has hidden so many things, right? Well, she is a doctor who is not really dependent on her husband for any kind of financial support. However, she is a middle-aged woman, and to be left hanging in that stage of life by someone who you thought would be your lifelong love is kind of heartbreaking. And she has done that. She has portrayed the role of a woman wronged so well, and I think it's also loosely based on a Greek mythological story about Medea, I believe. Hollywood is a mini-series created by Ryan Murphy. Ryan Murphy is known for his kooky, unique, intellectual kind of shows, but this show is unlike his usual fare. It's based in Hollywood in the post-World War II era, and it deals with all these struggling actors and actresses, and their stories which are just so intriguing and interesting and kind of mind-blowing that people live those lives, and they even did back in the 40s. So I definitely think it was a very entertaining watch. I enjoyed watching it. Not to mention the cast is especially very easy on the eyes, if you know what I mean. However, remember that this is a light watch. The acting is fairly good. Bill Parsons is beyond amazing in this, although he doesn't have like the largest role, but he's really amazing, and I think he's nominated for a good reason too. The cinematography and the sets are amazing. It's a fairly light watch. Again, not like a life-changing show, but it's entertaining and worth watching, I feel. Then I saw Love is Blind. This is another of those reality shows that satisfied the public hunger for mindless, guilty pleasure viewing. It came again at the right point in quarantine, where people were starving for new digital content that intrigued them, and intrigue this show did. Lauren and Cameron were definitely #couple goals. They made the show worth watching. However, I don't think they were around all that much after the first one or two episodes. Also, the show gave us all a national pastime of hating on Jessica, and for a good reason too. However, we should all remember, of course, that these reality shows really twist the truth just to gain the ratings and interest from viewers. So having said that, we all still chose to hate on Jessica. I watched this and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I am not ashamed to say that. Continuing on this public thirst of reality shows based on dating came Too Hot to Handle. Now, this was a show that fell short very badly. It's not a show I recommend, but it was entertaining for me at the time. It was mindless viewing that played in the background while I did some other work. I did not think the plot line of having hot people trying to be celibate for X number of days to get money at the end of it is a new concept at all. Also, I don't think that the people that were cast in it were really as hot as they thought they were. But again, I watched it, and I kind of am ashamed to say I watched it. Then there was also an Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt special, Kimmy Schmidt versus the Reverend or something, that premiered, and I watched it mainly because I've been a fan of the show since back in 2015 when it originally premiered. Ellie Kemper does a great role as the as the title Kimmy Schmidt. However, I watched the show not for her, but mainly for Titus Andromedon. It's played by Titus Burgess, that's his real name, and he plays the role of Titus Andromedon, who is this flamboyant, gay roommate that Kimmy has, who is just ridiculous, and he is an aspiring actor and a singer, and he just makes the show for me. Every time he's on screen, I am just in a happy giggly mood, and I love watching him. He's just too entertaining to not watch. Also, this particular special, which was I think 1.5 or 2 hours, it was kind of like an interactive movie which made the audience choose the plot line, and then according to the choices the audience made, the movie took the path. So it was entertaining. I haven't really explored all possible plot lines yet, but I did explore quite a bit of it, and it was a lot of fun. And of course, John Hamm. 100 humans. Human behavior is the most interesting topic to all of us, even though we all are humans. Isn't that really funny? So this show satisfied the geek in me, because this show is based on experiments around human behavior, and each episode deals with a certain aspect of human behavior, and different experiments are conducted in that particular episode with these 100 humans who are from different cultural and social backgrounds. Then the results of those experiments are compared with proven literature that exists around those experiments, and it's fun. Like I said, it satisfied the geek in me, and if you're curious about how human beings work and what is the science behind some of it, and what of your beliefs or what are some of the stereotypes that may or may not be true, so those are proven in this show. Topics can be anywhere from what defines attractiveness, or what defines fertility or libido or something like that. So they're really good topics. Basically, I definitely recommend the show. It was a learning experience for me, and it was a quick watch just because of the topics and how well it was done. Then the next show, which is just so amazing, is Unorthodox. Unorthodox is a fairly new premise to a lot of us who are not culturally aware of the details of the Orthodox or the Hasidic Jews. And this show is based on the central character of Esti, who is this young 19-year-old who has been arranged married who's been arranged married, and her only purpose in life is to procreate and increase the Jewish population in the world. She feels suffocated, of course, and then she escapes to Berlin, and it's about how strong and manipulative that community is when it comes to its people, and especially the possibility of procreating. I think it's really worth a watch. The cast is amazingly talented. Big kudos to Shira, the lead actress, for playing the role of Esti so well, and I highly recommend this one. It's quality content. Then came Absurd Planet. Absurd Planet is a nature documentary or nature docu-series which has this really sassy Mother Nature narrating all the episodes and talking to us about certain quirks and special facts about the species in our world and the various ecosystems. It was very educational with a twist of humor in the narration of Mother Nature. It was very entertaining, and I learned a lot from it. Funnily enough, there are facts from that show that I still remember, so it definitely did its job. So if you enjoy humor and you are a nature lover who likes to learn new things about our world, I recommend this show. It's an easy watch and a very entertaining one at that. But you have to be a nature lover to watch it, or you'll be bored. Then I saw Dating Around Season 2. I had seen Season 1 last year when it had been released. During the quarantine, Season 2 was released. This show is a reality show based on dating. However, this is a palate cleanser from all the crappy reality dating shows that you've seen. This show follows a single person in each episode on 5 first dates, and then they go on to choose one person for a follow-up second date, and you get to watch this date, of course not real time because the show is I think 40 minutes or whatever, but you get to see most of it, and it's really interesting for a lot of us who did not grow up in this country and who did not have as rich a dating life as people here do. The people in this show seem real, and the dating issues depicted seem real as well. I think this show also satisfies this voyeuristic hunger among all of us to know about who the other person is dating and what they do on dates and things like that. So that was definitely entertaining. I kind of recommend it if you're like me. I enjoy watching this show.